Good morning, everybody. My name is Ellyn Toscano. I'm the director of New York University Florence. First, I would like to thank the mayor. We have the great privilege to work with the mayor, Assessore Nicoletta Mantovani, and Miriam Zamperella in organizing conferences, talks, exhibitions. And this close relationship with the Comune, with the city and its leadership, has provided for our nearly 1,000 students a year a richer and more integrated relationship with this beautiful city in which we're hosted. We're grateful for the mayor's support and friendship, and always delighted to work with him on initiatives such as that which we're presenting today. On November 4th, 1966, the Arno River in Florence overflowed its banks, flooding the city, taking the lives of people and damaging countless pieces of art and rare books of immeasurable value. Thousands of young people, volunteers, the so-called Angeli del Fango, rushed to Florence and to assist in efforts to rescue and stabilize more than 1 million books and almost 1,000 paintings, frescoes, and sculptures damaged by mud and water. In 2006, on the 40th anniversary of the flood, NYU, with the Comune di Firenze, the Institute of Fine Arts, and the Friends of Florence, organized a conference to study and record the conservation legacies of that flood. Professional conservators from around the world lent their expertise to the efforts in Florence, and the tragedy of destroyed and damaged books and art led to an increased international awareness of the need for conservation programs. The field of art conservation was transformed by the flood and its aftermath, and the development of new techniques and materials and lessons learned for future large-scale events. This history was discussed during the 40th commemoration in this very beautiful Salone again, and the conference was keynoted by Senator Ted Kennedy. Now, on the occasion of the 50th anniversary, the same partners have come together with the mayor of Florence to organize 2 conferences, last week in Washington, D.C., and today in Florence, to call attention to an equally devastating contemporary challenge to our cultural patrimony, intentional destruction of cultural property for ideological reasons. Destruction of cultural property by war is by no means a uniquely contemporary phenomenon, nor one limited to extremism. It is as ancient as the sites that are targeted. Whether the intentional target of destruction or collateral damage in destructive and indiscriminate warfare, or the source of looting or in trafficking to finance international criminal activities, threats to cultural patrimony are ever more diverse and destructive. We organized these 2 meetings, one in DC and the other today, to examine the cultural catastrophe that results when built heritage is targeted for destruction. In these 2 meetings, we have invited scholars, lawyers, conservators, and practitioners from a variety of perspectives and disciplines. In Washington last week, we discussed iconoclasm and the propagandic use of destruction, methods of documentation and prevention of endangered artifacts and at-risk sites of cultural heritage, and the feasibility, desirability, and ethics of reconstructing destroyed cultural properties. In the wonderful discussion last week in Washington, many ethical issues were exposed and discussed. Questions of the agency of the community in which the cultural properties exist, the rights and responsibilities of the international community to secure, restore, and return objects at risk in times of conflict, and very complicated issues concerning the desirability, the propriety of restoring a damaged or destroyed property. For those who are interested in those proceedings, they were recorded, and as the proceedings today will be posted on the website of La Pietra Dialogues. Today we will discuss national and international efforts to secure and protect cultural properties, the international legal regimes that govern and regulate the protection of cultural heritage, strategies to control illicit trafficking of art, and protocols for the collection, maintenance, and repatriation of looted antiquities. In addition to the mayor, I'd like to thank my partner in organization, Simonetta Brandolini. We organized the conference together 10 years ago, and she's been a wonderful partner in the organization of this conference. Friends of Florence has made a true impact on the city of Florence, raising money for and guiding the restoration and conservation of hundreds of works of art. Friends of Florence follows the footsteps of the Angeli del Fango, many of whom were young Americans who rushed to Florence to lend their efforts. So, without further ado, Simonetta.